What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you a test and combo video for the Goblin biker profile that I showed you all the other day. Now you guys smashed that like button way above 50 likes, even hit 100 likes on the video, so I thought it'd be more than fair to bring you this combo video so you can see exactly what this deck can do on a randomized basis. If you do have any questions at all, by all means please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them once we get through the video. With all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. So what we'll do on this one is we'll do a couple of test stands going first and a couple of test stands going second, as the combos are relatively quick once they go unanswered. So after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, we will start a test hand going first, beginning with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, just seeing Territoll off the top is absolutely broken. Unfortunately, we haven't seen any goblins, but luckily for us, being able to get into your big Gabunga, this is just going to unlock all of your goblin plays as you see fit. So the best thing about opening up Territoll is you can do everything you need to without even conducting your normal summon. So these 4 cards are slightly irrelevant, but they're going to become an additional extender, a normal summon should we want it that can search us out any hand trap if we play it correctly, and then just 2 forms of interruption on our opponent's turn. So we'll start off with Territoll. Of course, we're going to special summon this down. We're going to use this effect to get ourselves out our Tug-and-Toll. Now, this is one place where it could get stopped, but if you do eat an Imperm or, of course, an Ash Blossom here, because you've got the extender of Tracker and you haven't used your normal summon of Sangan, you can still complete the play you need to. Literally, the play that I'm going to show you will all come off of the back of the one card, and I'll show you how basic it is, so that very simply, if this eats a hand trap, you still have another one to go for. And if you are trying to stop this deck, you're probably going to want to try and stop it at the big Gabunga place, because then it's a little bit harder for them to continue to go. So we're going to continue making our plays. This one, of course, is going to search us out our Tug-and-Toll Borg. We're going to special summon this down, and we've got a rank 3 on board. So I'm just going to move these 4 cards out of the way for now, because technically, they're irrelevant. So we're going to overlay both of these. We're going to go into the big Gabunga. And I always kind of forget, because I'm so used to when I make an XYZ to detach a material to use this effect. You don't even need to do that. You activate big Gabunga's effect. This allows you to get a goblin from the deck to the grave. And the one you're going to want to go for is your Dug Charger. So the reason you go for this one first is this is what's going to search you out your spell card, and this is what's going to gain you as much advantage as possible. So you're going to use Dug Charger's effect. You're going to detach any of the materials from below the big Gabunga to summon itself down, triggering the effect to search you out your spell card. Now the one you're going to want to go to first is going to be your Grand Entrance. This card's just absolutely insane for the deck in general. Then what you would do before you activate this is you want to make sure you rank up the Goblin biker, because you do want to bring back the big Gabunga later on, and you're going to want to rank it up into the Armor Fortress. You're going to use the Armor Fortress effect to make sure the big Gabunga goes to the graveyard, using the effect to search out the Trap card, which is your full Armored XYZ. Now this card cannot be used as XYZ material while it has a material, but do not worry, we're going to get rid of that very easily and very shortly. So then what you're going to do here is you're now going to activate the Goblin Biker Grand Entrance. So you add a Goblin monster from the deck to the hand. So we're going to be going and adding ourselves the Splotter. There we go. And in doing so, you then apply the following effects. So you detach a material from a monster on the field, which will be your Armored Fortress. And then you special summon a level 4 or lower Goblin monster from the hand, which of course will be your Splotter. You'll then be able to use Splotter's effect to revive a Goblin from the graveyard, and the one you're going to revive is the big Gabunga. Now this does run into a Nibiru, but again, you're going to be putting yourself in a position where you haven't used your normal summon, you still have an additional extender in the hand, so straight away that is a rank 3 that can start this combo all over again, just go in a different direction. So what you want to do is you want to put your opponent in a position of, okay, you now need to Nibiru me, or my next couple of plays is going to lead to a negate that I can deal with Nibiru without an issue. You could choose to rank up the XYZ Armor Fortress if you want to. The reason I'm going to hold that back is because you don't want to keep putting more monsters on the board for no need as of yet. What you're going to want to do first, you're going to want to overlay your Dug Charger and of course your Clatter, and the 2 of these are going to go into, for us, the Ghost Trick Alucard. We're going to hold back the XYZ, we're going to add that to our hand. You don't need to use any of the effects of Alucard as it currently stands, but what you're going to do here is you're going to rank this on top and go into a Ghost Trick Angel of Mischief. You're going to use Ghost Trick Angel of Mischief's effect to detach specifically the Alucard. In doing so, you'll be able to get a search out later on, but you're going to add the Ghost Trick Shot. You're going to activate the Ghost Trick Shot to bring back the Alucard, and then rank the Alucard on top again, getting into a second Ghost Trick Angel, which is really kind of cool, because now what we do is we have 2 extra deck monsters of the same rank but different names. So we're going to use both of these to go into a number F0 Utopic Future, sending Alucard and the 2 materials to the graveyard. In doing so, Alucard's effect will trigger to give you back the Ghost Trick Shot, meaning you've got a route to Zeus during the next turn should you absolutely need it. But again, we're just going to add this to our ever-growing hand. So we're now currently +1 from our opening hand, and we haven't conducted a normal summon or even used our extenders, which is really good. Now the next stage is how you're going to start protecting yourself. So you're just going to rank this on top and go into a Utopic Draco Future, and everything else is pretty much hunky-dory. So what you're going to do here is you're then going to rank the XYZ Armor Fortress on top and go into the Dark Knight Lancer, because of course the Armored Fortress has no materials. Great success. Now, if you were able to go through more goblins, you would have more goblin effects to trigger during the end phase, or during the main phase, sorry. But what you can also do here is you can banish the Goblin Biker Grand Entrance to add back the Dog Charger to the hand. So you've got a starter for the next turn. And again, you can see our hand is completely full. If you wanted to add another rank 3 to the board, you could very easily normal summon Sangan. Or if you wanted to at this exact point here, is you could normal summon Sangan, special summon down the tracker, link these two off, and go into a Bujinki Ashishima. And the reason you would do this is you can now trigger the Sangan effect to search you out any of the hand traps in your entire deck. You could, of course, use the Bujinki Amashima's effect if you wanted to. This could very easily be like an IP Masquerade, SP Little Knight, you name it. The only reason I'm showing you this, rather than keeping these back as extenders, is just to show you that we've now searched out any hand trap of our deck. So the strongest hand trap you would go for, you can go and utilize. And the other way you can get to Sangan, because obviously we've opened up a one-off here, is you can summon this off a tour guide, and then you go to Bujinki. And as long as you've got enough materials, you then use Bujinki's effect, and then off you go. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, if it is link summoned, you get to special summon 2 monsters with the same level, 1 from your hand and 1 from the graveyard, but you negate their effects, and immediately after this effect resolves, you XYZ summon. So as we were resolving Sangan, what you can do is you can use the Bujinki to bring back the tracker, and because we added back the Dog Charger, you can also summon that down, and then instantly overlay both of those into another rank 3, which can be a Armored Torpedo, so you can detach both materials from this to draw 1 more card. Or the other card that you can go into is your Kincada King, but we're going to save that to do that during our opponent's turn. And the reason you're not going to use the Bujinki's effect is just so that I can show you how the Goblin Biker's effects work in the graveyard, and you can use the full armor XYZ. Now obviously this will be a little bit more safer, because then you're like, right, okay, cool, I can save my full armor in case my opponent clears my board off. I've got more options to go for. My opponent needs to play through a Droll, 2 imperms, I've got a crack back with a Ghost Trick Shot the next turn, and everything else. Not to mention the end phase Big Gabunga is going to attach a Goblin from the deck to it as material, which is one of the ones you haven't got in rotation at the moment. Keep in mind you've got the Charger, and you've got the Splotter in the graveyard as well. They will all be in rotation as you go for it. So this is how you can end your board at maximum potential. I'll just add the material, because the one you're going to want to go for is the one that can be utilized during either player's main phase, and that of course is going to be the Boom Mac. So as this currently stands, what you've got is you've got the Big Gabunga, that if a material gets detached from an XYZ on the board, you attach one of your opponent's monsters to this as material. You've got the ability of activating the full armor XYZ if the board gets cleared up a little bit, because you are going to need space to do so. And the way you would do that is you'd be bringing back your Splotter from the graveyard, and of course the Boom Mac, so keep those in mind. You've also got the ability to attach your monster with the Lancer, and the way you do that is you use your full armored XYZ effect in the graveyard to attach an XYZ to it as material, which will be like Alucard or one of the Mischief Angels if you want to, and in doing so you'll then be able to trigger the effect to attach one of your opponent's monsters to this card as material. So there's loads of interactions that your opponent has to deal with. The reason I would say not use the Bujinki is because you keep your Dog Charger in your hand, and you're going to be going into a Kincada King during your opponent's turn anyway. So a couple of different options on that one. You either do the Kincada King now, done and dusty, because you went into the Bujinki. If you're not playing this, and of course you went into an IP Masquerena or an SP Little Knight, then again, you just use the exact same play that I'm about to show you now, just so you can see everything in its completion. So we're going to pass to our opponent, and as we're passing to our opponent, what we now have the ability for is you've got the Splatter Charger in the graveyard. You just need to get another Goblin to the grave in order to use this effect to revive, which is very easy. So during your opponent's main phase, you're going to use this effect in the graveyard to detach the Boom Mac, to summon back the Goblin Charger, the Splotter. You're then going to be able to go Chain Link 1, the Splotter, and then Chain Link 2, the Big Gabunga. This will then steal one of your opponent's monsters and use it as material. This will then revive a Goblin from the graveyard. You can now activate the full armored XYZ, overlaying both of these and going into Kincada King. Now, I've got to remember on Kincada King, because its battle position needs to change, especially when an insect monster from hand and graveyard and defense. When a monster on the field activates its effect, you get to detach a material from this card, target a monster, then target that monster, negate its effects, and then you can make an insect monster on the field gain 500 defense or change its battle position. So you'd go into Kincada King off of the back of your full armor XYZ. Keep in mind that when you use the effect of this detaching, your Boom Mac can still come back from the graveyard because you didn't use this turn, you used the Splotter instead. So you've got a negate off the back of Kincada King. You've then got the graveyard effect of the full armor. which will then be able to equip it with Alucard. I'm just going to put it there for ease of use. They've still got to play through a Droll and Lockbird. You maintained a bit more resource by not going through the Bajinki combo during your turn. And then they've got to play for a Droll. You've got a crack back of the shot. Everything else is just, you've got negates over the back of the Draco Future. It's just absolutely insane. The best thing about this is these are all different types and all different attributes, apart from these three here. Like, they're all lights. And then this is Beast Warrior, Beast Warrior. So you're kind of playing around Super Poly in a sense, because yes, Super Poly can hit a couple of these cards, but unless you're facing Yubel, it can't hit all of them. So you're in an okay position. So that's it for the first test stand. That took us roughly about 10 minutes. So I'll do a test stand going second, and then if I've got more time, I'll show you another one going first. But this is like your ideal defense board. It's also your ideal aggression board as well, because when you've ranked everything up, your Dark Knight Lancer is going to be 31. Your Utopic Draco Future is 3k. Your Big Gabunga is 21. And then, of course, you can also have the Bajinki Amashima. And at that point, that's probably when you're going to be a bit more aggressive. Alternatively, another one that I'll show you how you get into is you can also go into a Shuriken. And I'll show you how we're going to do that during our Go second combo as well. Just so you can kind of see how everything comes together. But you saw with that, like, we didn't even open up, like, we opened up Terratop, which is absolutely busted. But your two busted starters in the deck is Tour Guide and, of course, Terratop. So if you open up any of those 5 cards, you're in a very good position. And then even if you don't open up any of those 5 cards, as long as you open up a level 3 monster and then any extender, again, you're in a great position. So we're going to shuffle this up. We'll now go second. I'll show you what the 6th card can do. Like I said, if you're more worried about breaking boards, then you might want to be looking into more board breakers like Forbidden Droplet. But this one has plenty of hand traps. So what we'll do on this one is if we do see any hand traps in our opening hand, is we will utilize them on our opponent. And the chances are that when you're using those hand traps, you've reduced your opponent's end board as well. So I'll go first, go second hand will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open up Terratop, broken. We've opened up our one-off brick of shot, but it's not the end of the world. And a not so great Goblin to open up in the form of Mean the Merciless, but we're still in a good position. And then our 6th card is a Tracker. So even if we were to ignore Terratop here, so let's just ignore this for now because that's going to get us our full combo of what we need. The best thing you've got here is you can still normal summon down the Merciless, which is just your any level 3. And then, of course, you've got your Tracker, which is your any extender. So this will still get us the exact same combo I've shown you in game 1. But on top of that, it will also get you the ability to be a bit more aggressive. Now, this is without taking Terratop into account. Let's shuffle. Actually, I'll tell you what. We saw what we got when we got Terratop. So let's shuffle it out. Let's make the hand harder to play. That's what I want to try and do, is to show you how easy it is to work. So no matter what we draw here, really? Like, you just saw me shuffle this. I mean, I wish I had the power to do something like that, even though it's like definitely cheating and I would never do it. But like, to be a magician of shuffling would be insane. Unfortunately, I am not that. I swear to God, if this is Terratop again, what is going on? I can even try to do that in my wildest dreams. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm going to go really slow so you can see that I'm 100% randomizing and riffle shuffling this deck like no tomorrow. Oh my days. What is going on? There is no editing tricks here whatsoever. Like, I've got my face cam on and I've got the shuffle up. This is mental. There's no way this is Terratop for number 4. Just anything. It doesn't even matter. I just want anything in the deck. Oh, I've never been so happy not to see Terratop in my hand. It's unreal. Okay. So we're just going to ignore those as blanks. I would obviously use Imperm to bait out one of my opponent's interactions, so that will be gone. Whether I use it during my opponent's turn or whether I saved it during my turn to weaken their end board is still the same. I would still normal summon the Mean the Merciless, even though I can special summon it, but I can also special summon it from the graveyard, so having it on the board is not the end of the world. Special summon down the Tracker, overlay both of these, and we're going to go into the Big Gabunga. There we go. Same thing happens with Bagunga. This is going to get you into your Chug. Where are you, Doug Chugger? Doug Chugger. Oh, hello. Doug Charger. Now, of course, we're going to use Doug Charger's effect. We're going to detach the Goblin off the back of this, just to make sure we've got that recursion bit, the recursion in the graveyard. You could detach the Tracker, but you want this in the grave. Then, of course, we're going to use the Doug Charger's effect. Now, in this position, because we've already opened up the Grand Entrance, what you would go for is you would go for, where it would be, the Bash. And the reason you got the bash is it can give you access to a rank 6. We're not playing a rank 6, but it can do. But it's also going to give us the ability of an additional normal sign, which of course will be your clatter splotter as well. The best thing about the grand entrance, even though we've already opened up the spotter, you can still search out the boom mac and then still special summon down the spotter. So you're still going to be able to get the exact same outcomes. Like, that's what's so good about all the goblin pieces, is they all just kind of synergize with each other incredibly well. Now, you're still going to go into the armor fortress. It's still a rank art. It still goes up to a 25. You're still going to use the effect to get the trap card, because if they do kind of crack back, you have that ability to hit them with the trap card, which in my opinion is just a stronger version of the Grand Stampede. It's just not as... it's not a continuous trap card, basically. You don't really need to be bringing back the big Gabunga on this one. Like, you can very easily activate the grand entrance, detach the tracker. Obviously, you'd add first. So let's add first, wherever it may be. Let's add Boomac. You would detach off of the fortress, special summon down the spotter. I'm not going to bring back the big Gabunga on this one just because we're going more aggressive. So on this one, I'm going to bring back the Merciless. Put that to the graveyard. Overlay all three of these just because we're going aggression. Go into a Shuriken. So while this card has material, it can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of materials it has. So it's up to 3 attacks. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles, it gains 200 attacks. It will go to 23, 25, and then 27. And then when another monster's effect is activated, quick effect, you get to detach a material from this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So at the moment, a Shuriken is going to be putting in mass amounts of power. You can weaken it if you wanted to, and the reason you would do that is so you can extend your plays even further. This is just a pure example of how quick and aggressive you can get, because you'd upgrade your Armor Fortress into Dark Knight Lancer. This instantly puts a material on this card as well. So this then becomes a way of being able to go, okay, cool, Boom Mech, detach, summon itself down, and you've upgraded to 1300. Now, obviously, if you didn't go early doors into a Shuriken, you could have gone into that later in your combo, and you could still very much add onto your board the Utopic Draco Future as well as an Shuriken. So I'm just going to rewind it a little bit so you can kind of see where how you can adapt it. So like this one should pretty much be game. Like a Shuriken gets to attack 3 times, 21, 23, and apologies, it's at the start of the damage step. So it's 23, 25, 27. Every attack it makes. Unfortunately, these are only during the main phase, but is what it is. And obviously, Lancer will be a 28. So if we rewind this a little bit, so we're still going to have these 3 monsters on the board. And the reason we're going to do that is because we still haven't used the graveyard effect of Mean the Merciless, and we haven't used the graveyard effect of Clatter, but that's going to be during our opponent's turn only. So what you'd want to do here is you want a way of getting the Merciless into the graveyard. So you'd overlay that, go into your Alucard, rank the Alucard up into Angel. Oh, we can't use Angel's effect to detach. Ooh, that's not fine. We'll just use Mac, detach the Alucard, summon down Mac, activate Shot, bring back Alucard. Keep in mind this gets banished when it leaves the field, but it won't get banished if it goes as material. Rank Ghost Trick Alucard into your Angel. I mean, you've already got more attacks on the board if you wanted to, but we're just going to do 2 Angels, put those to the graveyard. We'll put this up into the extra monster zone, go into Draco Future, and then Utopia Future and then Draco Future. Alucard would be in the graveyard. Alucard would have recycled Shot for you. You've still got these 2 on the board as well, so you can overlay both of these. But what you also have is you now have the Mean the Merciless in the graveyard, so you can use the effect of that, detach the Armor Fortress, go 1, 2, 3. That's your Shuriken. So you've added your Shuriken to this board. You've still got 3 more cards in the hand. Obviously, this would have been a random +1. If we were able to search it in our combo, but unfortunately we couldn't. But you're still going to be able to rock it as you need to. You've got the full armored XYZ that will allow you to crack back during your opponent's turn, because you still haven't used Splotter, and Splotter can be used during your opponent's turn to go with it. If you did have any of these were an additional Goblin, you get an additional normal summon. Not that you need it, because now you're going to be able to go Utopic Draco Future, attack, a Shuriken, attack 3 times, 23, 25, 27, and then 28 off the back of the Lancer as well. Very, very good kind of power play. And if you absolutely have to, not that you should ever need to, but you can very easily go, okay, cool, I've got a 2 board wipe Zeus there. Or you can go into here and also have a 2 board wipe Zeus with an extra material. So all the same material, sorry. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, think. So 4 material Zeus there, 4 material Zeus there. But if you put Zeus here, basically what you're doing is you've got a board wipe threaten. We've got negates here, but yeah. That's just overextension for the sake of overextending. And like I said, The only issue you've got here is you've got the splitter locked under the Shuriken. So you just need to make sure that you detach this or get this detached from the Shuriken first when it negates an effect, and then you're good to bring this back, XYZ, everything. So yeah, very, very good. I love this deck. I think it's really fun. It's very aggressive. It's very defensive as well, actually. I do like the different options that there are. I think that's what makes this deck so good, is that you could pretty much get a full Goblin core for around about £50 at this exact moment in time. Like, that might change by the time this video comes out. I can't imagine it go too much. I think I bought my core for £70. I've seen cores go online for £50, so it's definitely within that region. And then on top of that, it's entirely up to you what you want to add with it. You could be like, okay, cool, I'm going to add punks to it. I'm going to add the ghost tricks to it, like this one, which I really do like as well. So massive shout out to Rob on that. Terratop, of course, in my opinion, Terratop and Tour Guide are the main two that you definitely need to be added to this deck until we get more Goblin support in the future. For now, this is how I would personally run it, and I think it works out really, really nicely. The only real question is how tight the extra deck is, but I suppose if you're like, I don't want to play multiple engines, you could probably cut the Ghost Trick version. That would then unlock 5 cards in your extra deck, and they just become IP Masquerinas, SP Little Knights, Typhoons, basic meta stuff. But yeah, if you want to be a bit fun, this is definitely where it is. Rob took this deck to locals and he got second at it on the first locals with this set. Really, really good, really aggressive. And like I said, because it's just such a low investment deck to get you an incredibly powerful board, you have that space to play loads of hand traps as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and of course, happy dueling.